Hi, I'm Tisha Powell, former Wall Street attorney, author, and writer. Today we are going to talk more about that SEC case with Coinbase. So let's just start looking at this because we still have to do business, not because the SEC is suing Coinbase. I mean, cryptocurrency is just going to disappear on the earth. I mean, it's just the SEC under the Biden administration, political climate can change. So people are worried about this SEC shutting down crypto. I mean, that statement is way too broad. The SEC is probably going to be able to shut down a few, but will they be able to shut down 23,000? Well, let's go dissect the case. So we're not going to talk about the one with Bianco. We're going to talk about the one with Coinbase. So the SEC complaint is 101 pages. That's really a lot of allegations there. It's also allegations, which means it hasn't been proven. So it has to be proven before it can be facts. So allegations were brought. Okay. So let's see what Gary Gensler, who is the SEC chairman, said. By the way, he was on the media recently. He was on CNBC talking more about it. So yeah, I can talk about this case as well, because I'm telling you, I do not see the weakness in Coinbase's case. I can't see it, but let's dissect it together, shall we? All right. So let's take. So SEC is saying that Coinbase has an unregistered security. That Coinbase offer unregistered security. Has Coinbase ever offered you any unregistered security? I have Coinbase on my phone. I was not offered that. I chose to download it. So Coinbase did not offer anyone any, unregistered security. Most people sought it out themselves. So it's just nice to see these complaints. That's why they're called allegations. Okay. So they're saying, SEC is saying that Coinbase is an unregistered broker-dealer. We'll talk more about that in the comment of what's an unregistered broker-dealer. First, before we can even accuse Coinbase of being an unregistered broker-dealer, we've got to figure out if Coinbase is even having any security. Are cryptos security? That's what we need to find out before we even jump to conclusion. And who makes that decision on whether crypto is security? Is that the SEC's decision? Is that people's decision? Is that the court's decision? Is that Congress' decision? So these things are just not cut and dry for the SEC. It's not like, oh, SEC, this is a slam dunk. It will not be a slam dunk. And I'm already seeing holes. I can poke holes in as a former security Wall Street attorney. I'm seeing holes right now into this. Okay, so let's talk more. Let's analyze this more. So yes, so Gary's gone on television, and we know these are allegations. We know Gary also was, elected by the Biden administration. So is this political? We don't know yet. This could be a political movement against corporations, because as you know, most small business owners are now working remotely, and they have to rely on these new technology that the SEC is trying to go ahead and eliminate. And I'll tell you why people need security crypto today. Because of the internet. How are we going to trade remotely with the world without a crypto? And we're going to talk about, Gary's talking about, we already have a digital currency. It's the US dollar. Because I would like to know how we can use the US dollar today to trade with people in Africa, India, and Pakistan. The MasterCards do not work there. Without Bitcoin or any cryptocurrency, you and I, small business owners, we would never be able to trade. So I want to know what the SEC is really up to. because remote working is here to stay. And you're going to need digital currency, which is cryptocurrency, to get this done. So let's go back more into Mr. Gary, SEC, Biden administration lawsuit against Coinbase, which has over 110 million users, by the way. That's not a small number of people. I bet a lot of them are like small business owners or small mom and pops, or just like, I'm 47 years old and I have friends that are in their 40s. They make about $10, $12 an hour. They too have the Coinbase. So, when you think about what the SEC is doing, it's like they're going after the big, the small, and the middle class, because even the small people have a little say in the Coinbase. So we got to watch the lawsuit as it go along. So, crypto assets. Certain issues are, according to Mr. Gary Gensler in the complaint, he said that Coinbase had certain crypto group remove problematic language. Okay? So that's certain of them. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, today and date, there's 23,000 of them, okay? So all Mr. Gary Gensler is saying is certain, some of them were problematic. So, but not all. So we have to watch that. So it means some cryptos are going to be okay, some won't. So just understand that that's going to probably have some crypto people more in problem than others. Mr. Gary, the Gary Biden administration SEC chairman, also said that that Coinbase knows that they're aware that the risk could making in trades, that cryptos are risky, and they still have it. And I believe that that's probably very weak, and I'll tell you why. I think most people know any investment you do is risky. Any investment that's not regulated is even riskier. So I think that people already understand that. And I don't think that's something that is an allegation. I think that this is where the market is going. Everybody's looking for a gold rush. That's what America's about. So for our government to try to regulate something that the people want, it just makes the generation feel sad, So let's hear what else Mr. Gary Gensler is saying. Okay, so Gary mentioned a few calling them securities. Flow was mentioned, ICP was mentioned, and these are just the names that went by. CHZ was mentioned, NAIR was mentioned, BGX was mentioned, Dash was mentioned, NEXO was mentioned. So I would say those security, that's what the SEC is really looking at, and Coinbase has that. Remember, Coinbase has other good ones too, Shiba, Bitcoin. So, there's some really good stuff about, the Coinbase app. So Coinbase, man, they're like, it's a good company. Coinbase is a good company. So I think everybody's shocked that the SEC would be suing such a, such a giant crypto that's really on the, the up good side. And Coinbase even attempted to work with the SEC on this. And the SEC didn't do anything. That's why I said the Coinbase and the Bianca, they're going to have two different outcomes. And that's why most people are not too worried. That's why trading is going on as business as usual, because people actually rely upon Coinbase to work their remote jobs. So, the SEC lawsuit is, mom and pops are, looking at this, Gary was on CNBC talking about the lawsuit, talking about this crypto stuff. So some people are saying, doesn't that show bias? You make that decision. Does that show bias where this SEC, who's like suing Coinbase, is also in front of the media getting airtime on CNBC. I mean, wow. That's all I can say. That's why we're going to keep you abreast on these lawsuits. We're going to analyze it for you. So, Mr. Gensler is saying it's the crypto industry. Their concept is non-compliance. Okay? So that's what Mr. Gensler said on the CNBC show. They spoke to 12 crypto places, and they made that statement, that general statement. Ladies and gentlemen, there's 23,000, around 23,000 cryptocurrency today. And Mr. Gensler said he spoke to about around a dozen. And that doesn't say crypto industry concept of non-compliant security. You talk to 23,000. Do you see how Coinbase attorney is going to poke holes in this? Can you see this as let me be that litigator, Coinbase. Do you see how a lot of holes can go? We're talking about 23,000 crypto. You spoke to 12, only 12. That's not even 10%. That's a scratch on the bucket. Why can't you speak to 10,000? You see what I'm saying? It's like, it's way, too overreaching. 12 people cannot speak for 23,000. It is not an equal probability. So I think that Coinbase attorney is going to have some fun with that. Let's move on to also other stuff. Yeah, 12 people, 23,000. Come on. At least let us hear from, and I bet the 12 that they chose was the weaker ones. They probably didn't speak to the stronger ones. Why wouldn't Gary Gensler speak to the stronger corporations for the crypto? Because they're trying to bring a lawsuit. They're trying to do something in the crypto market. So these 12 should be examined. Their books should be examined. Were they weaker versions or stronger versions? Because maybe these 12 have no value. We don't know. But the 23,000 cannot. It's impossible for 23,000 cryptocurrencies to be non-compliant with security law. It's impossible that would be the reason 23,000 would be in there. When the remote working is in position and people are trying to trade remotely, and we need some form of currency that we can trade in the United States with people in Africa, in the United States with people in Pakistan. I want to trade with people overseas, Gary. I want to trade overseas, and the US currency cannot work in other areas. MasterCard and Visa card doesn't work everywhere. So how am I going to trade? So those 23,000, they probably saw an opportunity to create a concept for us to be able to work remotely. And it's not to violate security laws. There's 100 reasons people made cryptocurrencies. And I can probably tell you, none of them probably did it, or all of them did it in order to be non-compliant. But let's see more. We'll talk more. So the SEC, as you know, there's some good with cryptocurrency and there's some bad with cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency is not all good and it's not all bad. There's some bad ones in there and there's some good ones in there. And that's what I said. Welcome the lawsuit, crypto people, because the SEC is going to shift out the bad ones. The good ones are going to survive. It's just some of these crypto, they probably have value. They can't all be bad. 23,000 cryptos cannot all be bad. And the internet is here to stay. The ecosystem is here to stay. It is begging and crying for a way for us to trade all over the world. So let's see what the SEC has to say, shall we? So the SEC is pushing back on the fact that people are saying we are going to get stifled in the United States with innovation if the SEC regulate and shut down crypto. And Mr. Kensler don't seem to agree with that. So as a business owner, I'm 47 years old, and as a former security lawyer, we need to keep up. We need to keep up. Did you see what happened? China kept up with social media, showed the United States we're ahead. Other countries aren't. The cryptocurrency is here to stay. If the government shut us down in the United States with crypto, we are going to not be able to keep up. So we need to keep up. We need some of these cryptos because it's the future. It's not the past. We need to be able to keep up. Yes, innovation requires us now to be doing remote work and to be talking to people and working to people in foreign countries. How are we going to do it when the MasterCard, the Visa card, and the US dollar that Mr. Gary Sengler said would work? We already have a digital currency and it doesn't work for us today. We're also going to talk about why a lot of people don't even have faith in the US dollar anymore. So yeah, Mr. Gary Kensler said that we already have the US dollar. Most people are afraid of the US dollar today. There was a time in the United States when the US dollar could buy you gas. Today, it is not uncommon in the United States for $100 to not stretch far. But Mr. Gary Kensler, the CEO of that Biden administration, he's trying to say we don't need any cryptocurrency because we have the US dollar. The dollar is getting devalued every single day, and that is what is actually accelerating the cryptocurrency. If you understand what's going on, people are hedging themselves against the US dollar. People are so scared. The debt ceiling has not been balanced by the Biden administration. Okay? We owe China a lot of money. The US dollar is very weak. It is so weak, you want to cry. But here, Mr. Gary, the SEC, the chairman, is willing to sue Coinbase, which some people are hedging themselves against the US dollar. And he's trying to drag us back to be with the US dollar. Meanwhile, the US dollar not stretching. Hello? The debt ceiling. America owes so much money to China. America owes so much money to China. Have you seen what JP Morgan has said? We're going to be owing trillions of the US dollar. Trillions of it. Trillions. This is shaky ground. This is why people are trying to hedge themselves against the US dollar. And the very thing that the people are trying to do, they're trying to get in the crypto market to change the US dollar into crypto so that they can at least eat food. The SEC is threatening to shut down and telling us that we already have a digital currency. It's called the US dollar. Meanwhile, the US dollar don't stretch much again. There was a time when it used to stretch a lot. Not anymore. Biden administration, Obama administration, they kind of destroyed it. So that's what people are afraid of. The US dollar, Mr. Gary, Mr. SEC, does not stretch very far anymore. JP Morgan said we're going to be on the hook for trillions of dollars. It is scary, Gary. It is scary for us. That's the problem with politicians. They live in a bubble. They have no idea that the US dollar is getting so weak. They're not able to see that. Instead, they would like to regulate the cryptocurrency as if it's the cryptocurrency fault while the US dollar is weak. We have borrowed more money than we can pay back. We have created so many people out of work. It is just not a fair system anymore. There was a time when $20 in the United States could last you for a month. That day is gone. Okay? It's expensive to live in America. Banks are warning us. Banks are warning us. We're going to be on the hook for trillions. People are afraid of the US dollar. So what else shall we talk about? Yes, Mr. Gary also said that the SEC, 90 years SEC has been around and it's been prospering us. Hi, do you guys remember the 2008 when the SEC subprime lending? How many people lost their homes? The SEC worked after. They didn't work before, okay? They didn't work before. They worked after to tighten the stuff up, okay? How many banks collapsed even though the SEC has been around for 90 years? How is the US dollar going even though the SEC has been around for 90 years? So is it really keeping us safer? I mean, the inflation is so high. I mean, tell me the good stuff of the SEC. I just know that 2008, when a lot of people lost their homes, it was after that the SEC tightened up the subprime lending. So yes, so the very person who was supposed to protect us in the subprime lending did not protect us till after. So a lot of people my age at 47 are still broke today because of the SEC, all right? People lost homes in America because somehow the SEC did not know that the subprime lending was going to happen, okay? It's after the bubble burst, that's when they tighten up the Dodd-Frank, okay? Okay? Have you guys seen how the US dollar has been these days? So there is, yeah, the SEC, thank God for them because yes, they do tighten up regulation after, but you know what? Either way, there is a natural cycle of the market, ladies and gentlemen, and even without government regulation, the market can correct itself, okay? There is a natural cycle of markets. They can correct themselves even without any government regulation. I'm Tisha Paul. We'll talk another time. Have a good day. Take care.